Hello and welcome to My Mom's Basement, presented by 3Chi and Barstool Sports, and a live Last of Us finale recap edition of My Mom's Basement. It is Robbie Fox, it is my co-host Clem, and we are here at the end of this apocalypse with Pedro Pascal, but only the beginning of another apocalypse because we'll be back later in the week with The Mandalorian. Clem, we just recapped the finale of this heartbreaking, emotional show. How do we feel?
I feel better than I thought I was going to feel. Is that fair to say? But
Absolutely.
I do feel like there is some stuff bubbling. I'm now scared of season 2 of what's coming with us in next season. And I mean, I was really mad at HBO in like the first 5 minutes. Could I just go on my rant here that I had saved that I don't have to do anymore?
Get it
Fuck
off.
you, HBO. Fuck you, Sony. Fuck you, PlayStation. Fuck you, Naughty Dog, for making me do this every single week. It's crazy that like this is probably middle of the pack in terms of pain, where I see a mom who just gave birth to her baby have to give the baby up and then ask her best friend for life to shoot her. It's like middle of the pack in terms of the pain rankings of this season, but that's where we are. Also, shout out to that was the voice actress of Ellie, right?
Yeah, so that was Ashley Johnson who played Ellie in the video game. Earlier in the season, we got the actor who played Tommy in the video game. Later on, we got Joel, and here we have Ellie. So it completes the trifecta. Very cool thing that they did for the show to include a bunch of voice actors from the video game.
Yes, very cool. And she's also, I was just talking to KFC about this, is the kid from Growing Pains. So the 80s
Oh,
babies in
yeah.
us. I was like, I know that girl. I know that girl. That is not just a voice actress. Seeing all that go down was just fucked. And I'm like, man, if this is the appetizer, what are they going to have as the main course? But all things considered, very emotional episode, I thought, and I don't know, I was a fan of it. Now we'll see if there's a secret episode next week, because that would be an even number 10. And I don't know. I'm very happy with the show. I'm very happy with the season, other than like the constant kick in the balls, the dick, the fucking throat, the heart, everything you want to have. How about you, Bob? What do you think?
I really liked it. I've already seen some people in the chat that didn't really love the finale, that said they felt underwhelmed by it. It felt a little too short to them. I've seen some people say that it felt too long. So I've seen people on both sides of the fence. I enjoyed it. I loved seeing Joel go. I mean, full spoilers, obviously. Spoilers for The Last of Us finale. Seeing Joel go full like Denzel or full Gerard Butler there. Awesome. I love the twist at the end, the revelation. That is the one thing I was referring to last week that I remembered, was that sort of twist about the fireflies and whatnot. I loved this finale. Again, I think it sets up an amazing season 2. And let's just get into it because we have a lot to recap. You mentioned it already, the birthing scene that we started with. I turned to my girlfriend and I had to laugh, and I said, this is going to be like the 5th birthing scene that we're recapping on My Mom's Basement this year. What is going on, HBO? From House of the Dragon to this show, we cannot get a break. And it's not just like implied she gives birth. It's like, no, you're going to see it, placenta and all. We're going to see them fucking slice the umbilical cord like it's a straw that, spewing out. Oh my God. Jesus Christ. Clem, I can't get a break. Birthing scenes every week.
I said I'm having House of the Dragon flashbacks, which, by the way, for people that haven't watched House of the Dragon, there's like 4 different birthing scenes. Like, we're not exaggerating here.
And one gets worse than the next. It's progressively, they all get more and more graphic.
They like start zooming in. I think they had smell-o-vision, where it was like 4D, where you could smell it. Like, what the fuck are we doing here? Yeah. That was like the freshest baby I've ever seen in a movie or TV show. Like, I think that baby was literally born just for the show. I think that was literally some umbilical cord still attached to it. And for people that don't know, 2-time umbilical cord cut over here, no big deal.
Oh, that you cut it?
I cut it both times, and that shit is slippery, man. It is not. It does not make a smooth cut. You're kind of like, you have to cut a couple times. The scissors are curved. It's no bueno, baby. Yeah, I'm sorry. Trust me. Both, old Podfather shows, Chaps will talk about the sounds of scissors cutting his wife open. And
no. Listen, I apologize to every single person in the chat. I apologize to every person watching after the fact, listening. This was a disgusting start to the show. This was gross.
Enough with the birthing, HBO, because then if you film it, we have to talk about it. And I don't want to talk about it. Actually, I kind of wanted to talk about that part just because I knew it would give Bob the heat.
We got to stop talking about it. We're going to stop talking about it. The chat's saying stop talking about it, Clem. We're
How
getting
much does a new
emojis.
baby cost? How much do you think a baby costs like that young? Like that fucking baby is like fresh out of the womb. Like that's like $100,000 baby.
It's fair enough. I mean, it could have been a traumatic experience for the baby as well because they had the clicker run into the room and basically ambush the two of them. Now, the mother gets bit. Ellie's mom gets bit in the thigh. She cuts the umbilical cord. Did she cut it before or after? Before or after? She swears to Marlene, who finds her later. The Fireflies come in with Marlene, swears that she cut it before she was bit. But then she, of course, asks Marlene to take Ellie and kill her. She's like, you got to leave me with this. Marlene, faced with the decision, says, I don't want to do this, but then comes back, shoots her cold-blooded. Unreal start to the episode. We cut right to Joel and Ellie, and they're trying to make their way through the city still. They find Chef Boyardee and Boggle, which we were a big board game podcast at this point. I love Boggle. I think Boggle's a great one. Great. It's not a board game, but, a board game aisle game.
So Boggle, you throw me Boggle and Yahtzee and tell me which one's which. I have no idea. They told me Boggle's a board
really?
game. Yahtzee's a number game. I could have flip-flopped them. I've never played either. They're both very fun games to say. And a dumb idiot like me, you'd think I would just play the game just because it sounds so fun. It was never big in the Casa de Clem growing up. So I've never played, I don't think, either of those games in my life. But I'm kind of interested because if Joel says like 12-year-old could beat him or 14-year-old, I can fuck with a game like that's that simple. So Boggle's
I'm going to be honest. Boggle walked so Wordle can run. Boggle is a fun game where it's like you have like a box full of letters and you shake it up and then the letters go everywhere and you try to like spell things out with them. I'm pretty sure. I think I'm remembering that correct. It's fun.
And I saw a couple people talking about this a couple weeks ago somewhere. Wordle, never played Wordle, not one time. It was one of those things where I was so sick of seeing people's Wordles on my timeline. I'm like, I will never play this game for my entire life. It looks like it's just Lingo. Did you ever watch Lingo on the Game Show Network?
No, I know. I've definitely heard Lingo. I've definitely seen it on my guide, but I couldn't tell you about that. I still play Wordle every day to this day.
Really?
Yeah, I love Wordle. I feel like maybe the only person playing it, but I think it's fun.
You don't post it, which actually
I never post. I hate people that post it because nobody gives a shit. It's like the fantasy football thing. Nobody cares.
Yep, I muted the word Wordle, so I wouldn't even know if you posted it. So I don't see him anymore.
No, I think I've posted it maybe once just because I had like a funny pattern or some shit. I was like, oh, look at this. It looks like a boob or something. It looks like a middle finger.
Lingo is an awesome game. I'm going to send you a little video afterwards. You just play at home. It's very easy. It's some like letter stuff. It's just such a nice little treat, Bob. So treat yourself to some Lingo, everyone in the chat. And I see my guy Sim Leonard here. Boggle and Sorry, no idea which one is which. Every single person in the world doesn't know the difference between, usually it's Sorry and Trouble. And no one ever knows. It's like, which one's the one with the bubble? And my friends, I've come up with a foolproof way to fucking figure this out that you'll never forget for the rest of your life. Are you ready? No one knew this when they tuned into the Last of Us podcast. They were going to have their lives forever changed. Trouble has the bubble. That's all it is. You hit the bubble in Trouble. Sorry, you flip over a card, and then you sometimes flip over and says, sorry, like go back to home or whatever the fuck it is. Trouble has the bubble. Boom. Thank you, Ellie and Joel, for bringing this show into our lives so I could finally solve that childhood dilemma that is really easy to solve. Trouble has the bubble.
Folks, it's that easy. We just literally solved a dilemma that you might have been facing for 20, 30, maybe even 40 years. I don't know how old our listenership is. We have a large demographic, I'm sure. We just solved it. So make sure you like the video for that. For that alone, Trouble has the bubble. And hey, that's the hashtag as well.
Yes.
Hashtag Trouble has the bubble. I want to see that down there.
Thumbs up, subscribe, and comment. Yeah. Trouble has the bubble. Let's fuck the algorithm up. And like these basement boys are going live and they're making fucking things move on YouTube on Oscar night, no less.
Listen, I want each and every person listening, watching this to think of themselves as Joel in the hospital here. And you're just fucking the algorithm up. You're going to the algorithm. You go, Trouble has the bubble. Trouble has the bubble. Trouble has the bubble. And the algorithm's going, we don't know what is going on right now. Like someone is in the system and we can't get them out. Okay. So they make their way through. Ellie is still traumatized, clearly, and Joel picks up on this. He's clearly more warm towards her as well. Like we mentioned with Feidelberg last week, we were like, is their dynamic going to change? Feidelberg asked us, and it has a little bit, I would say. He is less harsh towards her. He's saying, hey, is everything okay? I've noticed you're talking a little less. He suggests, I think I should teach you how to play guitar, which I think is a big part of the second game, because I've seen videos of people playing the video game and like you're able to start strumming a guitar and people try to play songs and stuff. And they're headed towards the hospital that we know is the end game of this whole thing. They then see a system or a industry thing that they have to go through. It was, Joel mentioned, the only thing the bomb was supposed to hit and they missed it. Ellie starts running away like she sees something crazy. This is a very, very famous scene from the game, Clem. One of the most famous.
Oh, really?
She sees a giraffe. Bizarre thing to see in a city, obviously, but a beautiful thing. She feeds it. It's a cute little giraffe. I love giraffes. Big giraffe guy. My sister's a huge giraffe person. So they see a family of giraffes, and Joel just says to her, for the first time, he suggests, like, we could forget about the whole damn thing. Like, we could just go back to Tommy and chill. Because I think he's getting connected to her as a daughter, and he's like, yeah, this isn't worth it. Whatever we're doing here, I've found my happiness here. I'm back to where I wanted to be.
So when Ellie starts climbing, she's running around, she drops the ladder on him, and she's like, "Oh, Joel, you have to." I'm like, young lady, what is so goddamn important that in the middle of a apocalyptic world we're living in here?
You almost said the Z word.
I almost said the Z
you
word.
Almost said the Z word there.
We have a live audience too, so I don't want them being like, "It's not a zombie, it's clickers." You fucking
You're
big
like a zombapocalypse.
And I was so mad at that girl. I threw the dad voice on her. And then when I saw the giraffe, I said, "Giraffes rule, Ellie." That is one of the maybe 5 acceptable things in the entire universe that I say would have been acceptable. They're so goddamn cute. Do you know what color a giraffe's tongue is, Bob?
Oh, I guess not.
I believe it's black. And now that I'm saying it might be purple, and the reason I know that is from Salute Your Shorts, Camp Bonawan and old. There was like a trivia question, and the counselor, Ugg, R.I.P. in peace, he like knows that. It's like etched in his brain. I think it was their mascot. So I'm looking at the tongue. The tongue was even the right color. It was goddamn beautiful. And remember those DirecTV commercials where it's like, you'll have so much money you can buy a baby giraffe? I wanted that goddamn baby giraffe so badly, Robbie. I wanted it. And I found out it was CGI. It was like, it broke my heart. It's like, I'm telling you, that baby giraffe, and this is a nerd thing. I know this is going to offend some people in the chat. It's going to probably offend Robbie too. That baby giraffe is in, I'm not going to say the same tier, but in the same, universe
I know where this is going.
as Baby Groot, as Baby Yoda, and Baby Groot. I'm telling you, it's in the same atmosphere. It's in the same. It's like, hey, listen, it's in the tournament. Those guys are 1 seeds. This guy, you're telling me that baby giraffe in the DirecTV commercial wasn't a 16 seed at the very least?
In the cute baby things tournament, this might have to be a new episode of the bracket. It might have to be cute babies, Baby Yoda, Baby Groot, Muppet Babies, the baby from Dinosaurs, the television show, the baby that talks. Boss Baby.
Bob has a lot of babies lined up here right now. I'm pretty impressed.
There's a lot out there, but you know what? The baby giraffe might make it.
He like spits at the guy or kisses him. I'm trying
what about like baby Grinch, baby Mike Wazowski from Monsters U. That's a good one.
Yeah, there's a lot of good babies.
There's a lot of good ones. Let them know in the chat. Let them know in the chat. Look who's talking, baby.
Look who's talking, baby. That's a good one too. And like, just think of how much you love those big giraffes, and then it's a little baby giraffe that you get to keep in. You get to
I actually met a famous giraffe before.
All right, that's a fucking quote right there.
His name is Stanley. He's the giraffe from the Skittles commercials and The Hangover 3. He gets decapitated in The Hangover 3. They have him in the car, and they drive like under an overpass. Stanley the giraffe was at I think it was Malibu wine hikes. I went on like a wine hike, saw Stanley the giraffe, and they told us all about Stanley the giraffe. I tweeted about him. Then months later, I started getting tweets from Stanley the giraffe activists being like, these people like aren't telling us where Stanley the giraffe is, and we're worried about him. Like, have you heard from Stanley? And I was like, I'm sorry, I haven't. He hasn't hit me up, hasn't DM'd me, hasn't said, let's go hang out. None of that. So yeah, this is a Stanley the giraffe tangent on the Last of Us pod, but I hope you're with us.
The most ridiculous lines I've ever heard Mike Francesa say, who is like the most ridiculous person in the history of humanity, right? He actually said, I actually met Secretariat. That was his line. I actually met Secretariat, talking about a fucking horse. And Robbie just did that in real life, saying, I met a famous giraffe, and then had his Stanley the giraffe. let's be honest though. Let's pay our respects to the goat giraffe, and we know who that is.
Jeffrey.
Yeah, obviously Toys R Us, which is back kind of in Macy's. They like
Kind
have
of
like
back.
a little toy section where if you go to Macy's, like God bless you, that's like amazing. There's a Macy's that has still survived, and then you just go with your kids, and then they just
Why?
like,
What's wrong with Macy's? Is Macy's out?
Well, I'm saying like all those stores are basically dead at this point. Macy's is like the last one. It's basically the last of us. It's Macy's and no one else. Sears
Macy's,
is dead.
J.C. Penney, right? Is that
J.C. Penney might still
there?
be kicking? I'm not sure.
JCP,
yeah.
I think they're kicking. I bought a suit there. My only suit's from JC Penney. That's a fun fact for the chat. Leave us a like for that one.
R.I.P.
All right.
Stanley.
R.I.P. Stanley. So, well, we don't know if Stanley's dead yet. Joel asks Ellie if she's okay.
I'm sorry. The relationship though, it changed to the point where I thought Joel was almost like trying to like buy back time. And he's like, I could teach you guitar. We could play Boggle. Like, we'll do whatever you want. Like, he realized he was a little tough towards her.
Sense she's traumatized, though, I think.
Oh, that's
from last week. We're right off the heels of last week. Keep that fresh in your mind, where it's like she just went through some shit. And they said Craig Mazin said in the after the show last week, he was like, Ellie is never going to be the same person after what she went through. Feidelberg referred to it as hell, which, by the way, we would have had Feidelberg on. I know people were asking for it. Me and Clem, we're two-bit pussies, bitches. You call us what you will. We were just like, it's 10 p.m. We don't want to ask anyone to come on. It's too late.
Yeah, I was gonna ask KFC. You were gonna have fights. We thought maybe we got like a little KFC radio.
Friends, but we just feel too bad.
And the funny thing is, they both, I'm like, yeah, sure, no problem. Like, it's just one of those things that it's like you just don't want to do it. Just like if someone asked me, hey, Clem, you want to come on? Yeah, of course. Like, let's fucking rock and roll. Yeah. But it's like, I don't know, man. It's every Sunday night, everyone just wants to chill in their bed, and we're with the Basement Boys though, so it's all gravy.
All right. And we're with the Basement Boys because of Game Time. Let's tell the people about one of our favorite sponsors. This is the exclusive ticketing partner of Barstool Sports, created by fans for fans. Game Time is the ticketing app that makes it easier than ever to score last-minute deals on tickets to sports, concerts, shows, and more. They guarantee the lowest price as well. I'm looking to see Blink-182 like 3 times in May, Clem. They're going to be here at UBS Arena, Barclays, and MSG. I've had tickets to see them 5 separate times before this. All 5 shows got canceled. So I'm waiting until the last minute this time to buy tickets and making sure that they're actually getting on stage. Hopefully that they will. And I'm also looking to see Paramore like twice that week. So I'm looking to go to Game Time to do that. I love Game Time. The purchase process takes just 2 taps and 10 seconds. And once you buy your tickets, they're delivered directly to your phone. No printer needed, so you don't have to run to Staples or something before a concert. And the app also allows you to easily share your tickets with friends via text, so you can get into the game seamlessly. If one of your friends is late, he's not going to make the whole group late. You can send his ticket to him, screw him, tell him you'll see him in the 5th inning or something. Download the Game Time app or go to the website, enter your email, and redeem code MMB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply.
I told our boy Aussie Dave and Disney, hashtag Disney Boys. I said I'm gonna go watch Bluey, the Bluey show. I told him go watch the Bluey show in Orlando. I think it could be sold out. Go check out Game Time, promo code MMB. So we're all gonna be watching Bluey, all us dads, thanks to Game Time.
I love it. So Joel opens up to Ellie at this point. They're in the camps, camps opened up by the army in the days after the outbreak. And she asks about Sarah, and he doesn't shut her down for the first time. She's like, oh, was that like with Sarah? And he was like, nope, that was already afterwards. And he just lets the conversation flow and then confesses about the scar on his head and finally admits it wasn't someone shooting him and missing. It was him trying to commit suicide in the days after the outbreak, right after Sarah. And he missed. He flinched and he missed. And they have this unreal line that hit as hard as any line in this show, hit as hard as the Bill and Frank line, wasn't scared till I met you and all that for me, where she says, like, time heals all wounds, I guess. And he looks at her and with the greatest delivery he could ever give says, it wasn't time that did it. Mm-hmm. And even Bella Ramsey's acceptance of that, she doesn't say anything. She doesn't have to. The look that she gives was so meaningful, so powerful. This was just, whew. Man, this is heavy.
When he just mentioned Sarah, I fucking took did the Portnoy. I fell off the chair. I was like, whoa, we're saying the S word now? We're just throwing that around willy-nilly here, Joel? What the fuck's going on? So that whole scene was pretty wild. It's like the revelation that he killed himself was almost like the 3rd thing on the list in terms of like holy shit moments in terms of that little scene. So that was cool. And I'm like, oh baby, we're gonna have. Now, this is the thing. If this wasn't the finale, I think we would have had like a good 15 minutes where we're just kind of growing this relationship. And I'm like, oh boy, sunshines and rain. I was looking for sunshine and rainbows this episode. And I know I'm watching The Last of Us, and those sunshine and rainbows are going to get murdered in front of my face. But I was just like, man, wouldn't it just be nice if we just could see their relationship build? I was so excited. And we're just like, oh, we're going to tell some jokes like it's not a scary show and just have a fucking ball. And that's just big dumb Clem. And that's what happens in the fucking Last of Us. No sunshine and rainbows ever for us. It's not fair.
Can they release the Last of Us DLC Sunshine and Rainbows edition where it's like we get to see all the parts in between the dramatic moments in this TV show where it's like, yeah, this was just them talking about puns for another hour. Like, just give us that for an hour. Let us see that these people's lives weren't all bad, you know? It wasn't all misery. Craig Mazin, this fucking guy, he goes from Chernobyl to this. He's just trying to rip our hearts out. What is wrong with this guy?
You know, in Chernobyl, that first episode, I watched it, and at the credits, I said, you know what? I'm not built for this. Like, I knew I wasn't built for Chernobyl, and I just bailed. I said, I heard nothing but great things. And it was like, remember when Roan and Coley and a couple other guys, they started that chain where it was just pictures of dead birds and they were going to send them to each other. And I was like, I'm a bird guy. Can I get in it? And I don't know if it was Roan or Coley, like, Clem, do you really want to be on the dead bird chain? I'm like, yeah, I'm not made for the dead bird chain. I'm made for I'm in the alive bird chain where I like sometimes train alive birds to large. And I'm like,
large. You mean large? Yeah. I've been in that before. I've sent you guys bird pictures. Yeah, I see a cardinal in Ohio. Boom, send it over to my two guys.
Barstool bird watching club. And Kate's in it as well. We've never met before, like in terms of a meeting, but it's like on the agenda.
I'll introduce you and Kate next time you're in the office. She's nice.
I've thought about making a shirt where it says Barstool Bird Watching Club. And it's like the old Big Johnson shirts where it's like we'll have the binoculars, you have a couple little puns on the back. So man,
we should do a video, talk about wholesome content, you and me painting a couple birdhouses, making like some Star Wars themed birdhouses. Man, you get us to 40,000 subscribers, I promise we're gonna do that.
We're gonna get down to back to 30. If they're like, no fucking way, I'm gonna watch you guys making birdhouses. I said it to you and our guy Sam later that was seeing the chat here. I want to watch a movie where it's Jurassic Park and the dinosaurs just stay in their cages and are like happy. They're not like sad dinosaurs. I just want to watch dinosaurs for like 2 hours. And I want to watch Joel and Ellie just tell jokes and just have fun each other. A couple little laughs, a couple sour stories, like not the sad ones, just nice stories. That's all I want to hear. Is that
like the ones at the end of the episode? Those were nice sour stories.
They were nice.
I mean, like they're melancholy though, because you know that's just in your mind, like, oh, she's not here, but it makes you feel good, makes you feel bad. The Last of Us makes you feel everything. So they break the tension with some puns in this moment where he's like, you know what I need now? A couple puns. Break out that book. She starts reading a couple, you know, what do they say about the apocalypse, day after tomorrow, blah, 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 whatever. And they have this masterful shot in the background where it's not in focus at all, but you just see people run into frame and launch a grenade looking thing, which is, I think, a flashbang, not a grenade. But oh my God, the way they shot that was awesome. It was like, holy fuck, they're not gonna move. Oh my God, they're not moving. And then it just hits. A couple good puns in there as well.
I felt so proud of myself that I saw the person as soon as they were on screen. Usually those things just completely shock me. I'm the last.
Did you do the old guy thing where you're like,
I had
seen what I think I'm seeing?
I had to throw on my glasses halfway through the episode, Robbie. Okay, if that's what you're asking, yes, yeah. I had the notes. It's getting late. That's when the eyes start going around 9 o'clock.
Any mutes? I assume not. We didn't really get a lot of other than the beginning.
I'm having issues with my closed captioning, which is another old person thing to say. I understand, but trust me. So what I'm doing is I was using my parents' HBO. It's not working on my TV. So I have to go through the laptop. And when I use the laptop closed captions, it turns on Spanish for some reason. And if I can use it on the remote, it works. But today it wasn't working. It's worked in the past.
It's like Buzz Lightyear when he gets reprogrammed in Spanish. You just don't know how to redo it.
Oh, I love horny Spanish Buzz Lightyear. It's one of my favorite twists in Toy Story, man. It's incredible. Yeah. So that's basically what I'm doing. I'm like, I might learn Spanish by season 2 instead of just paying the whatever $15 a month for HBO. That would be much easier. I'll buy a $300 Rosetta Stone just to learn Spanish so I can watch the closed captioning on my mom's account while I'm fucking too scared to watch almost said it, a post-apocalyptic clickers show. We're watching a clickers show here.
There you go. Yeah, and I just respectfully don't believe anyone over the age of 40 when they say my closed captioning doesn't work. I'm like, all right, it works. You hit the wrong button.
I'm going to show you a video. I'm going to record it all and I'm going to show it to you. And you're going to tell me if I'm right or wrong. Trust me,
right.
I know exactly just how old I sound right now.
Yeah, you sound pretty old. Joel wakes up with Marianne, or not Marianne, Marlene. I don't. Where did I get Marianne from? That's
It's an old
got to be a
person name.
different show that
You
we
got the old
watched. It
brain
is.
right now.
Well, I'm still noodly from Disney. Tomorrow. I told Clem tomorrow I'm taking my 6th and 7th flight in 10 days. So
Yeah.
I'm all over the map here. I feel like I just got hit with a flashbang. All right. I'm
And-
just simulating that flashbang for everyone at home.
And oh wait, 6th and 7th flight in the same day. Robbie, does that mean you're taking a flight and coming back the same day? Yeah, that's exactly what he means. This sick fuck right here.
Across the country, like 6-hour flight, 6-hour
Nuts.
flight, all that. Yeah. To be seen where I'm going though. Top secret location. Ooh, what does that mean, Robbie? Stay tuned.
Subscribe to the channel to find out, everybody.
Subscribe. So he wakes up with Marlene. She explains that Ellie is alive. She's okay. And the Fireflies believe she is the cure and the answer to everyone's prayers, that she can save humanity. But they're prepping her for surgery that's going to kill her. They don't say it in those terms, but they talk about the cordyceps, as Feidelberg mentioned last week, and they say those are in the brain, right? And she's like, they are indeed. Joel freaks out and he's like, absolutely fucking not. Let me see her. Get the fuck out of here. And she's like, escort him off the premises and fucking shoot him if he does anything. So they start bringing him out. They start bringing him down the staircase and he just snaps. He's like, no, ain't happening. Turns around, shoots someone, shoots a guy right in the cock. I think he shoots him right in the dick. It was just unreal. I couldn't believe that's what he went for. Then he just said, I don't have time for this. Shoot someone in the face. Joel reminds you constantly in this show, he's a shoot first guy. He's not a fuck around. He's not a give you a second chance guy. He's not a stutter. No. He is a shoot first guy. And this was the beginning of an all-time rampage. I said he goes full Denzel/Butler. You could put a Gerard Butler role in here. You could put a Denzel role in here. Equalizer, Man on Fire, even John Q, a little hospital influence there.
Oh, yeah.
Joel goes crazy. He barely breaks a sweat either. It's not like he starts going through, he gets shot in the leg, and he starts ducking around a corner. No. He goes Terminator. He goes, Ellie's in danger. I'm going to kill every single person in my way to get to her.
I had it as Joel Wick. Hashtag Joel Wick.
Joel Wick. Oh, that's a great hashtag too. All right. Hashtag Joel Wick as well. You got to hit both. If you hit the trouble bubble, you got to hit Joel Wick.
Hashtag Joel Wick. Creasy Bear. That's always like what gets in my mind though. Man on Fire. And it's because obviously he's protecting the little girl. I mean, this guy basically gets his second daughter into his life, and then she immediately gets flashbanged, stolen, and they're trying to take her fucking brain. And I was thinking, like, couldn't we think of another way to like not do this without taking the kid's brain out? But then I remember, like, there's been months, if not years, right, that they've been waiting for Ellie. So I'm guessing this is the best to have. But I'm like, can we do like 5 other, like, there's really no rush here. You can figure out ways to fight off raiders, the clickers. You can kind of like avoid them. Like, can we think of like, let's try something with blood first, and let's try something with this first before we just take the one person that may be able to fight this and just take her fucking brain out. So I was pissed. We were all like, and the music. They started playing the theme music during the scene, and I was going fucking crazy for that. I was screaming, man. It was awesome. And even when he's hitting him with the gun, but then when he takes the knife out, he goes. And I'm like,
yeah, oh, and it's Ellie's knife. It's the knife we see in the beginning that the mother gives and passes down and all that. He's like killing. This is for Ellie with Ellie's knife and everything. Now let's talk about the dilemma that they're faced with, right? Ellie can potentially save humanity if we kill her. Is this one person worth literally all of humanity? That's what Joel is faced with, and that's what Marlene is faced with. I also think it was brilliant to have those two people in those positions, right? Marlene being someone that actually knew her mother and was like, protect my baby. And she's like, is this like what she would want? This the purpose that Ellie serves? And then you have Joel, who lost his daughter 20 years ago, has been looking for, not even really looking for a replacement, has just been lost for 20 years, and now he's found, and it's in Ellie. I said it's a crazy, crazy, crazy dilemma where you go, it's one person for potentially 7-8 billion. You got to make that trade, right? But no, I fell in love with Ellie just like Joel did this season, where I feel like she's family. And no, you can't kill her. You have to save her. You have to lie to her like he does in the end. You have to do what he did.
Yeah, so that is the real tough part of all. When he murders the doctor too, just right off the bat, it's like, well, that guy, he's not saving anybody now.
Clem, my note, I wrote, Joel don't play no games with the surgeon. Don't play no games, I wrote, because that's the attitude he had. He was just like, no, don't have time for this. Boom.
Yeah.
And then the other nurses were like, okay, we'll bandage her up. Take her. We don't even want her.
It's and like that guy has a very certain, like, almost killing the doctor. I mean, obviously Ellie is 101 in this world, but the doctor, I imagine, like, remember the guy in Kansas City? It's like a doctor, he's worth his weight in gold right now. And this is a doctor that could potentially, like, is ready to, what is it, quadriceps? He's gonna unquadricep the brain. Wherever the, like, we need Feidelberg just to pronounce the names for us, god damn it.
Cordyceps, quadriceps, they were hitting all the seps.
Did you realize too that he was carrying Ellie like Sarah? You know, it was like the same kind of, you know. So
Outbreak Night. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, I don't even know if that's true, but he was carrying her. So I'm at least, well,
confirmed.
No one's gonna double check us, right? No one, don't fact check the basement boys.
People in the Last of Us fandom, I don't think they're specific about that shit.
fact check the podcast that actually say that they know what they're talking about, because we most certainly don't. I'm fine with Ellie making the choice, or Joel making the choice for Ellie, because she wasn't given the choice in it. And this is the reason. I said this last episode, and I'm rehashing it now. Does humanity truly deserve to be saved? Because I'm telling you, Bob, I saw a little more this episode where I'm kind of back on Team Fungus, and I'm getting a little stronger on Team Fungus here. It's like, they're just going to take this kid's brain out. Now, and this is the other thing. Yes, I know, like, it's not Joel's place to make that decision. But at the same point, Marlene, she made a promise when the kid was fucking 1 minute old, basically, right? That she was going to keep her alive, and taking your kid's brain out is the opposite of doing everything you can to protect her.
By the way, the chat is confirming, shout out, which this is an unreal username that I have to read out loud. JFK Headshots says it's true. He carried her the same way. I didn't, no disrespect to the Kennedy family. But
look at you,
Rovell. I had to read that.
Rovell
I know,
Fox over here.
I know. And we've got people saying, I love that people aren't spoiling The Last of Us 2 for us. They're being, coy with it. Someone said the doctor is critical in part 2's story. So that's interesting. And the doctor seems pretty fucking dead, but we'll see about that, I guess. I guess he's dead, but maybe people connected to him. Don't spoil it for us. We're excited. I'm going to play The Last of Us, the first game now, and maybe I'll even play The Last of Us 2 before season 2, and I'll go into that kind of an expert on it. I could lead Clem through it. I could hold his hand through where he needs to mute, Or
I was going to say, or you can, like, correct me, like, hey, asshole, it's not zombies. Like, this one.
These are evolved cordyceps now. Yeah. So he mows the hospital down. He brings Ellie out, and Marlene is in the parking garage waiting for them. And she's like, we can change this. Like, we can still change the way everything goes down. I don't care what you did. You just got to make the right decision for me right now. And it just flashes right to Joel and Ellie in the car. And Ellie wakes up, and this is where Joel lies to her. He says they ran some tests. There's dozens like you out there that are immune to this thing. But you know what? They couldn't make anything work. They stopped looking for a cure. And Raiders storm the hospital. She says, were people hurt? He says, yep. And she just takes a deep breath, and they flash back to the parking garage. He killed Marlene in cold blood. He was carrying her. And this time he didn't allow for the other person to shoot first in that situation, where he was with Sarah. Yep. He had that gun hidden under the table, fucking Han Solo style, shoots her in cold blood, and then says, like, you would just come at. She says, like, please, whatever. He's like, you would just come after us. Boom. Pops her right in the head. And then they hike to Tommy's town in Wyoming. They talk about Sarah a little bit. This is a nice conversation about Sarah where they relate them a little bit. He's like, she had a beautiful smile. Not that you didn't. I'm sorry. But they talk about it like that. And then she has a moment where she says, swear to me that everything you said about the Fireflies is true. And the look on her face tells us that she doesn't believe it. And he just says, I swear. And then she also gives, this is another Emmy-worthy look where she gives that look where she says, I don't believe it, but I'm going to pretend that I do for now. Yeah. I'm going to swallow my pride and accept it, because what do we do if that is true? Like, are we not going to have this relationship? Is that going to ruin this relationship? I'm sure we'll find out in part 2. And I'm excited for that. I thought it was a great, great, great ending to this. And you could see why Bella Ramsey said it was going to be controversial. It's not, in my eyes, people in the chat could correct me. From what I remember about watching the cutscenes, it doesn't divert from the game. That is what I remember from the game.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. I didn't know if it was going to be divisive, because, like, should Joel have been able to, was he right or wrong for?
I think that's what she was talking about.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so during that scene when they're walking up, and Joel is just like tripping all over himself. It's like, not that you, like you said, not that you didn't have a great. It's like if you have like a new girlfriend and some of the old girlfriend comes up and he's basically just like, making himself look like a goddamn putz. It's like, come on, man, just don't compare your two daughters to each other. I felt so bad for him. I also didn't know, like, Ellie's a very smart person. We've learned that from the jump. She can like just sense stuff. And I immediately as they're walking, you just tell there's something over there. And I'm like, is she gonna grab his fucking gun here? Like, did she hear something before? Like, I was scared about that. And I'm thinking, like, that would be a divisive moment. So I was scared about that. And then basically it comes down to he's talking about Sarah on his own, which again, that was very like disarming just to hear that. And then when that scene and she goes, swear, and he swears, this might be, I was Team Damon and I'm always spin zoning and I'm trying to defend my guys. And I think I don't think I know anyone who's not a Joel fan who watches the last week to be a sick puppy. Even though I'm Team Fungus, I'm also Team Joel. Very rare combo, but it's true. He didn't swear on anything. So that's what I'm going to say is why it's okay. If he swore on Sarah and he lied, that would have been a problem. If he pinky promised, that would have been a problem.
Even a pinky promise.
Pinky promises are solid.
True.
Like,
true.
And there's
you really hook pinkies, yeah.
Yeah, it's the hook and then the kiss. It's the two together.
Kiss too. That on top of it. No, I've never kissed a pinky promise. I got
You've never made a pinky promise. Then you have to kiss the pinky promise.
No, I've made a pinky promise. That sounds like a pinky promise plus.
That's like
a pinky promise that Marlon Brando makes at the fucking Godfather. Mwah, I make you an offer you can't refuse. Like I picture you make a kiss if you're wearing a pinky ring and you make a pinky promise.
If you get a contract, you're like, contract looks good. That's your pinky promise, Bob. I signed the contract. The kiss is the signature on the contract. Am I going crazy here?
The chat needs to tell us if a kiss on a pinky promise is true.
Okay, how do you say
do
the
people
game?
Kiss on a pinky promise?
Yeah, do people? I feel like that's like. It's like a handshake.
Hand?
It's like a. Or how do you say this? Tell me. How do you say it? Rock, paper, scissors. How do you play that? Say it.
Rock, paper, scissors, says shoot.
And you're a says guy. The basement's going through some stuff. For the people who don't know,
guy.
I'm not a says guy. I have two.
You say rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Yep. The says is unnecessary. The says is unnecessary. Kiss is extra. I haven't heard of that before.
Hasn't heard of a kiss before. Flash in the chat. No kisses. Who kisses on a pinky promise? Not all pinky promises. Someone says, Mike T says a kiss makes it stronger.
Yeah.
Someone says, uh-oh, is this the end of the basement? Not if we have anything to say about it. No, Come on. Mando's coming out. That's just going to mend the basement together. Unless Clem becomes a diehard Bo-Katan guy and then she goes full Death Watch and everything like that. Let me tell you what can mend the basement together, though. Everyone, listen to me. Listen up. What can mend the basement together is Factor, one of our favorite sponsors. I love Factor so much. I actually ordered this stuff. I got a little free trial as like the hosts. They send some stuff. It expired. I don't care. I'm still ordering it. It's amazing. Power up for springtime with Factor, America's #1 ready-to-eat meal kit. Get nutritious, chef-prepared meals delivered straight to your door, leaving you time and energy to tackle everything on your to-do list. With Factor, skip the trip to the grocery store, skip the chopping, prepping, and cleaning too. Factor's fresh, never frozen meals are ready in just 2 minutes. And all you have to do is heat up and enjoy. So you order these meals. They're amazing. They get the keto, vegan, veggie, calorie smart, protein plus. They've got good smoothies for keto diets as well. You literally pop them in the microwave for 2 minutes, heat them up, and they're done. I just had chicken piccata, which every single time I have chicken piccata, I think of Frankie Borelli telling an all-time story of being a waiter at Borelli's during a bridal shower, I believe. Had chicken piccata, which is a slippery dish if you're not familiar. Slipped right off the dish and down a woman's dress, down the back of her dress, between her dress and her back. Slimy chicken piccata all over the place. Frankie Borelli just didn't know what to do. Man, it made me laugh as I was eating my delicious Factor chicken piccata. I love this stuff. I love their cheesy jalapeno chicken. That's my favorite Factor meal. And if you head to factormeals.com/Robbie50, ROBBIE50, use that same promo code Robbie50, you'll get 50% off your first box. That's code Robbie50 at factormeals.com/Robbie50. 50% off your first box. That's an amazing, amazing deal. All right, now I want to ask the chat for any questions, comments, concerns. I want to know what the chat thought of The Last of Us finale. I actually have the capability, I believe, to throw some comments on the screen like we did for Game of Thrones here. So we got Darnado here said, if the basement survived the past few weeks, parentheses, Legos, they can survive anything. When we were in Universal with our pal Sam Lauderdale, who's in the chat down below, I believe, we were looking in the gift shops. They have some Marvel gift shops in Universal still because we're east of the Mississippi. And I was trying to get you guys on my side. I was picking up Lego sets literally and walking them over to you and being like, what about this? If you were a little kid, you're telling me you wouldn't like this. It was an Avengers HQ with like the full Endgame set. And it was and you were like, I would take all the minifigures out of that and I would love the figures, but I wouldn't care for the set. I was like, this fucking guy.
My wife sent me stuff. AJ wants Legos for his birthday, and it's like a walkway that's like this big and like a Luigi figure. $50. I'm like, what? Oh, yeah. What is this for? And again, when I was growing up, we didn't have Lego like sets where you're building the Avengers HQ. It was just like you'd have a big blue block and then some green blocks, some red blocks, and you'd like create stuff on your own. There was no following a guideline. Nothing looked like anything. You would use your imagination in your hands, and my brain stinks and my hands stink. So why would I like Legos? So again,
this is back in my day. You got a little back in my day at that point.
Let me just say this, though, Bob. I saw something. I have them upstairs. I should have brought them down. I went to Costco today. They were on sale at Costco, and it is the dream. It's the thing that's going to bring the basement together.
Oh.
You want me to go get it? Should I get it live on the pod?
Go get it. Go get it live on the pod. I'll talk to the chat while you get it. If it's bringing the basement together, I mean, I could see him in the reflection, like scurry off. That was great. All right. I'll answer some stuff in the chat while Clem is gone. What Barstool employees would be the best survivalists in the Last of Us universe? You got to think the Zero Block 30 squad right away, right? It's kind of cheating with them because like they lived it. They were survivalists in a way. Chaps, Cons, Kate, they would be great. Billy Football would say Billy Football would be great, but he turned on everyone in the world's most dangerous game show, the Barstool's most dangerous game show. So I don't know. Maybe he would turn on the group right away. Are you ready for Bella Ramsey to be QB1 next season? I guess she maybe takes over for Joel in terms of the lead character. I'm ready for that. I think she's earned it after season. All right, Clem.
Yeah,
what's going to bring the basement together here?
All right, this is going to bring us together. What does Robbie love? Legos. What does Clem love? Snacks. Lego snacks.
Gummy building blocks. Oh my God. So have you had the like chalky Lego candy?
Yes.
Good candy.
Good.
I mean,
yeah.
It hurts your teeth.
And like that's something candy. You're like, you could have fun putting those
yes.
together. Whatever. I have no doubt in my mind.
Gummy ones. I'm a huge gummy guy too.
For the people watching, not listening on the YouTube.
Those straight up look like Legos. Do they click in too?
They click in. Look at that.
Oh my God.
And I think they'll give you like some, like maybe some big ones or a couple
some instructions.
Yep. And AJ, my wife said AJ has been into Legos lately. Can we get him some Legos? And then I saw these on sale at Costco. I think it was like $5 for this giant bag. And he loves gummy snacks. So I'm like, let's fucking rock and roll. So the basement boys can come together. You
pop
build
a red
Legos,
and give a review. give a review of a red for the people. 1 to 10. We're not doing ball scale. We're doing just 1 to 10.
This is strawberry.
I usually go red first with candy. I feel like red is like a good fastball.
That's a good one too. Strawberry's red, green is apple, blue is blueberry, yellow is lemon. Strawberry. It's like a solid 7-8. Like I'm happy.
Okay, 7-8. I'm happy with a 7-8. Yeah.
Lemon's good.
Some
good.
More comments from the chat that we've got. This was the best video game remake into a TV show. Great cinematography. Pascal was great. Ellie grew on me, but felt rushed by the end. See, I go back and forth whether or not, and we also had JFK headshots. Our friends say, "Oh my God, his fucking profile picture too." Jesus.
Oh
Christ,
Jesus,
dude.
JFK.
I got to take that off. We're gonna get taken off YouTube, man. He said it was the best representation of a video game too. I don't know if I could say it felt rushed because the mall episode. I liked the mall episode. I think both of us liked it more than most people did. But when you have an episode like that you could have removed, does it still feel rushed? Maybe just the ending felt rushed, he was saying. And I could have gone for an hour-long finale tonight. I would have liked that.
Yeah. I guess they would have had to change the pick. I think the mall I realized was necessary. I think that was the biggest thing. It was necessary. That I would have liked some more stuff in that episode. They could have
bringing it up in this episode was good when she tells him about Riley. And that's like a big moment for her.
Yep. I agree. Also, JFK Headshots had this before. The Last of Us won Game of the Year when it was released on PS3, and then won it again when it was remastered on PS4. That is ridiculous right there.
That's like Taylor Swift when she put All Too Well up for the Grammys again this year. It was like, you shouldn't be allowed to do that. Happy Days say Joel going ham was absolutely crazy. You could see the constant PTSD from his Desert Storm days to his daughter's death to the emotions he has for his new daughter. Gets more gray hair every episode. I loved the way they shot his rampage because it wasn't straight up like action movie, like it was muffled. It was like he was, someone in the chat said he was disassociating almost, and he was just, everything was cloudy, and he was just going through motions of terror and horror, resorting to the old him. It was the Bugs Bunny meme, like, oh Lord, don't make me go back to the old me. And he went back to the old him. David Snyder says, did the lack of clickers take anything away, Robbie? I'm sure Clem was fine with it. For me, I definitely would have liked more clickers, and I think we'll probably get more in season 2, knowing nothing about the game, just knowing the budget's probably going to go up. So you would imagine more CGI, more clickers. I would have liked more. I didn't think it took anything away, though.
So shout out our guy, Heavy Spoilers, who this is the first time I'm going in without watching his recaps beforehand. So again, he would have, informed me of some shit that I probably missed along the way. But he would show a lot of times like how they did it in the game. And a lot of times the game did have more comment because the game, they're not just going to have just stories, right? Just cutscenes going the whole time. Even though I hate the shit out of those scary moments, I think it would have helped. I always said they moved the difficulty up to medium and you had to do some more fighting along the way. Because again, maybe I wouldn't be Team Fungus if Fungus actually presented an issue more than once or twice to us, right? So it's usually the Raiders that end up fucking us up, or some dickbag human. So I don't know if it took anything away, but I do think it could. Maybe an extra episode, the mall episode, you put a little more fighting with clickers. And then another episode worth of clickers throughout the season, which then bangs us to an even 10, the way you space everything out. Perfect show, 10 out of 10. I think we just made The Last of Us a perfect show. Still very good, though.
The fact that we haven't been hired as consultants by all of the streaming networks at this point, you're giving away money. Me and Clem would just make you this money here.
Exactly.
On the contrary to people who feel it was rushed, Nick says it felt rushed because there was significantly less combat, which is fine for the TV show. Too much combat would have eventually gotten pretty repetitive. That's probably pretty true with the show. And then I also saw this comment from Jake Goodman, who said, I think the biggest reason I love the games more than the show is that the game the game forces you to actually do the terrible things that Joel does. It makes it much more personal and emotional. And Jake, that's a sick comment right there. You're like, I think I like the game better because it made me feel like shit more. I had to fucking murder with my own bare hands, and I still see the blood on him drying to this day. But you know what? I guess that is kind of what the game does to you.
And like, even when Joel in this episode, he just fucking kills the doctor, which I feel, I don't know anything about 2. I didn't know anything about 1 heading into this. I didn't even know this show was coming on TV until you told me a couple months ago. But I feel like Joel's gonna be like wanted for murder of like, I don't know what kind of reach the Fireflies have, but it's like, this guy just killed like an important fucking doctor here. We need to get this guy. And he has the girl, which I figure that is going to be the thing. Obviously, he's 100%. If he had let Marlene live, she was just going to hunt Ellie down. That was going to be her life. I think, and I don't know anything about 2 other than what I've heard people say in terms of it's different, it's uneven. I think I feel good with this crew, the directors and whatnot. They've made awesome stuff. They made stuff that was just random parts of the story, and like the Bill and Frank stuff that we loved. They kind of expanded upon that. I think they can make it better, but I also think this is maybe a time where we throw like some more clickers around, to fill in the blanks.
We've got, I believe this is Nick Hammy in the chat, I would imagine, under the KFC radio account. And he said, I'm late to the party, so I'm not sure if you talked about it or not, but was that climb up there and grab the ladder the most video game moment in the series? Yes. We didn't talk about this really, but I thought this in the moment when he's like, go up there and drop down the ladder or whatever. I was like, oh, that is a task you would have in the video game. Even the dialogue that came right directly after it felt like it could have just been straight out of the video game. And I wonder how many, and I'm sure the heavy spoilers of the world already have this counted, and they're going to put a video out that says like 193 Easter eggs in The Last of Us tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'm wondering how many people have lines in the show that are directly pulled from the game that aren't cutscene lines, that are just background lines, like as you're walking past them or something like that. because obviously the cutscene lines, the ending cutscene, the chat pointed out, is pretty much word for word from the game. And it's a cinematic game, so that's why it worked. The Last of Us video game is half a movie, basically.
It's crazy, man. So where are they going now? Are they going to Tommy? Is that where they are?
Yeah, in Wyoming,
Okay,
his town.
Yeah. Wyoming looks fucking awesome. That was another comment I had when they just like stopped at that spot, and I was just like, the Wyoming Tourist Board, they got their money's worth out of this. If that was even Wyoming, for all I know, it could be anywhere else in the fucking planet.
And how about this? We got a bunch of people in the chat saying, talk to us about the giraffe scene. We want to know more about the giraffe scene. Why was it so meaningful? How about we got the chat tell us why it's so meaningful? Because us two guys, as two people that haven't played the video game, you guys could probably say it a lot more eloquently than us. A lot of people are saying the second game may be split into 2 seasons.
Ooh, okay. So, because we were saying it might be the show could only be only one more season. I don't think HBO is going to want that to happen, right? So that would make sense. I just want to say shout out to everyone in the chat here. This is my favorite. Like, I forget this when we do the pod, just me and you, is how great it is having the chat when we do House of the Dragon, and the High Council corrects us on all the shit. They help us out, and they give like the good questions and content.
I know, like I don't know what to call them for this. It's like the High Council for Game of Thrones. I don't want to call them the Fireflies or Fedra. There's or Raiders. Like the Raiders are kind of cool. We were like, oh, that's a cool word to use.
The keyboard clickers. They're clicking the keyboard when they're typing.
Oh, the keyboard clickers. That's pretty good. I like that, Clem. The keyboard clickers. People are saying, our guy JFK Headshot says it's meaningful because it brings a soft scene to the game where it's been pure chaos beforehand. Also, Rand says The Last of Us 2 takes about 25 to 30 hours to finish. The Last of Us takes about 15. So yeah, it'll probably wind up being 2 seasons.
You know what? Fuck it. Breaking news. Last of Us season 2, the video game, will be 2 seasons long. Last of Us is now going to be 3 seasons long. We're breaking it. Tweet it out. Fucking put a link to the YouTube. We're just going to make up our own news. We can aggregate our own news. Get the fuck. We're Barstool Sports.
I'll text Justin Kroll and be like, sources confirm, write a story about this on Deadline right now. And he'll be like, absolutely not.
Absolutely.
You ain't my boss, sir. And you're wrong. And I know you're kidding.
Not only will I get fired for this, I'm going to sue you for even that.
In the end, how do we feel about the chat? How do we feel about the choice that Joel made? Chat.
Yeah,
I know that. Obviously, people have sat with this. If you're video game fans, you've sat with it for a while.
A lot of people are saying that. Yeah, you could read here. Kenny's
the giraffe scene was important because it just helped ground Ellie after such a brutal moment. It's just such a zen moment in the game. Absolutely understand that. It's a scene where we get that nature can survive and move on despite all of humanity's bullshit. Another great way to put it. We got some poets in the chat tonight.
Sweet boy Kev, that's a guy. There's KFC's burner. I'm gonna tell him that's KFC.
Kylie Gray says Neil Druckmann explains the giraffe scene as a moment of fleeting innocence for whatever it's worth. It's good to know, fleeting innocence, because Ellie from this moment on, it's not like she ever really had a childhood, but it's over. Whatever she had of it is gone. The pun book, even that is. I don't think we're gonna get a lot of pun book Ellie in season 2. I could be wrong. I haven't played The Last of Us 2, so I could be wrong.
I wonder if the pun book.
I feel like she'll be way more closed off.
Is the pun book gone now? Did they do the?
Probably is gone. Yeah.
Yeah, she's just in her gown, so I don't think there's anything left.
And he's like, the Raiders came quick. I had to grab you and pull you out.
That's a metaphor, Robbie, because her childhood is over. The pun book was part of her childhood. She even had the first pun book. We're doing fucking big. I don't need these fucking YouTube recappers. I can put this shit on. I mean, I'm telling you, when Heavy Spoiler said he always look at his watch whenever he thought of Sarah, and I'm like, man, that's something I would have never in a million years picked up. I just feel dumber every time I see people like that break down these shows.
So we got some thoughts from the chat. Kind of a scumbag move to lie like that. It is tough. I mean, if she's 14, 15, you could say she's old enough to handle the truth and come up with her own decisions and stuff like that. Kenny says most fans agree it needs to be 2 seasons. Mighty Machismo says parent here, hashtag Team Joel. Yeah, if you're a parent, I mean, come on. How could you possibly give up what feels like your kid, even if it isn't your blood relative? He did save the world, but his world was Ellie. Sorry, Earth.
Ooh, Ian dropping fucking poetry on him.
Mike, save the world, not his world. Boom.
Oh,
timeline jumps, deeper storytelling. All right, we're getting some timeline jumps in season 2. Maybe we'll get recastings. Casts Emma Darcy as one of the Ellies or something. Did we find it a little weird that Joel had a 20 KD with a bolt action rifle versus machine guns? That's funny. He had it on easy. We said he had the game on easy mode.
Yeah, little John McClane style there,
Our guy Sam says 100,000% would have done the same thing as Joel. The fault is all on Marlene for letting Joel go. That's a good point. Like, Marlene should have never said, we're prepping her for surgery. Like she should have been like, oh, she's fine.
Yep.
Start with that.
We're doing some tests. We're going to, try to get some of her blood out and whatever. Don't be like, yeah, we're going to take her brain out of her head. She's dead, Joel. Thanks for delivering her.
It's the classic villain trope of we're going to tell you our secret here.
You caught me monologuing. I was watching Incredibles the other day with Syndrome, and he just says, you caught me monologuing. It's so fucking good.
Sweet boy Kev, our boy Kevin Clancy says, what? I'm not convinced they would have been able to develop a cure anyway. I agree. Yeah. I mean, they're saying like he would have found a cure, blah, blah, blah. Seems pretty ambitious to be like, yeah, right away, we would have got that overnight as long as we killed her. What if they killed her and they couldn't find the cure? Then the rest of Joel's life, he's thinking about that.
And so, but then I wonder if this is a part of season 2, but what if like, the whispers of the Firefly camps around the country somehow are like, we had a savior potentially. And
I bet
dope just took her, it's like, hey man, no one wants kids to die, but kids are dying as well, right? It's like Sam would be alive right now if there was a cure, and the kid from the beginning of season 1 would have been alive if there was a cure, and it's just not that it's not his place. But fucking, I guess Ian did fucking make a good point. He saved the world. It was his world. That was
it's Empire Strikes Back at this point. I don't know who Darth Vader is, but they're looking for the guy who blew up the Death Star.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's Joel right now. Or it's Taken 2, really, is a much more niche reference than The Empire Strikes Back. But, in Taken, Liam Neeson gets his daughter back. And then in Taken 2, they're like, hey, all those people you killed to get your daughter back, the families of those people want to kill you now.
Yep.
Maybe we'll get a little bit of that in The Last of Us 2. By the way, Taken 2, not a good movie. So I hope The Last of Us 2 is a little bit better than that.
And I think I'm going to go into next season very scared. I'm going to be scared based on what everyone's telling me. I've heard nothing but great things. Like Game of Thrones, everyone's like, the books are great. Even House of the Dragon. Oh, if they, mirror the books, they're going to be great. This, I'm hearing, Last of Us was great. Last of Us 2, I got through it. I had to see what happened. I'm like, ooh, that doesn't make me feel very, very good.
I'm just seeing Matt Ryan says that people are going to riot if they stick to the Last of Us 2 storyline. It's going to be more brutal than this season. Oh my God. Marlene should ask Ellie if she wants to do the surgery thing. I think Marlene was trying to reason with Joel because eventually he would have asked to see Ellie. Probably. 20 years later, definitely don't have the medical advancements needed. Probably, right? Cure doesn't get rid of any clickers. Still an ungodly amount of those things out there that could rip you apart. Great point. Clem's prediction for season 2. You got a prediction? Last of Us 2 is mid. That's tough to hear.
Oof.
Needed way more clickers. Be very scared of The Last of Us 2.
Oh, God damn it. My prediction, pain. I feel like it's going to be a Cold War between Ellie and Joel. I feel like her bullshit radar is up, and he swore to her. And he's going to say, baby girl. I didn't swear.
You know what my prediction is? What? My prediction is the meme of the Ninja Turtles walking with Splinter as babies. And then season 2 is the Ninja Turtle are walking Splinter and he's an old guy.
Yep.
That's my prediction. That's my whole prediction. Someone says, oh, I love this comment. So much mute time.
Yeah, I have to figure out this closed captioning thing by season 2, which they haven't even started filming yet. But this is a real problem here. So fuck. It's going to get crazy, huh?
The Last of Us season 2 opens with everyone in Tommy's Town eating people. Well, a bit of a spoiler. I didn't mean to put that on the screen for everybody.
Is that a thing?
But it opens with it. Well, if that's true. I don't know. Maybe they're cannibals.
Prediction? I don't know if that's a prediction. I sure.
Part 1 is universally loved. Part 2 is super decisive. I assume Kenny means divisive. Yep. He corrects himself. Divisive.
Yeah. I could take...
Oh, no, they said it's not true. It's not a spoiler. All
okay,
right.
not a spoiler.
I'm just joking. All right.
God damn, I really, oh, man, I'm going to have nightmares tonight just about what's going to happen to Joel and Ellie.
Yeah, didn't trust the Fireflies in the flashback episode, people are saying. All right.
No, that's the biggest point I took away here. I agree with Marlene and Joel. Ellie probably would have signed up to do it if they had just asked, but they didn't ask. And I
Yeah.
think she would have also been
I
smart
think
enough
Ellie would
to,
have signed up to do it. Like they said in the posting, it's her life's purpose or whatever.
yeah. And like everyone in her life has disappeared and died because of this fucking awful event. I think she would have like probably signed up for it. I think she also would have been like, so what is our percent here? How many balls on
Yeah.
the ball scale do you think that this is gonna work? Like 5 balls is, oh yeah, everyone's gonna be cured of this shit, and 1 ball is like no fucking chance. So yeah, I think Ellie would have done it. You agree, right?
Yeah, I think she would have done it. But I'm glad that she didn't get that choice because I like that she's still alive and we're getting The Last of Us season 2.
Hell yeah.
All right. Thank you to everyone for tuning in. We just went an hour here. Thank you to our sponsors. And we'll be back with another Pedro Pascal Apocalypse show later in the week with The Mandalorian. So if you're interested in Pedro Pascal Apocalypse shows, join us on that one as well. What was the hashtag we decided not to trouble bubble one? What was the second one we had?
Joel Wick.
Joel Wick. I think Joel Wick is the one that you got to hit if you made it to the end. Thank you again for everyone that joined us all season. This was a lot of fun. And I'll update everyone on social media at Robbie Barcel when I start The Last of Us as a game. I'll try to stream it on Twitch and then maybe we'll cut it down into little compilations on YouTube. I think that would be pretty fun. So maybe I'll even get Clem in, turn the lights out and just have him watch me play the video game or something.
I'll like be watching you on Twitch with it on mute. Be like, oh, my sweet Robert, don't get hurt, Robbie. Watch out for that guy. I'll turn to Mama Fox. Watch out for the guy behind the door, Rob. He's hiding from you.
We will talk to everyone during our Mandalorian recap on Wednesday or Thursday.